Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about a sport drama film called Never Back Down from 2008. Enjoy your viewing. One day he was invited to a party. At this party he was beaten up badly, but he did not give up and started training. In the evening, in the pouring rain, two school teams played soccer. The white team is losing, but Jake joins the game. He demonstrates his skills on the soccer field and makes several successful blocks. The boy does not let his opponents pass. One of the opponents gets so angry that he starts insulting Jake's late father. Of course, the boy could not stand it and taught the rascal a lesson, putting him in his place. In the locker room, Jake told his friend that he was moving to another state. The boy starts packing, but suddenly his younger brother Charlie drops a box of old clothes. In this box, Jake finds his dead father's t-shirt. But for the boy, it is a painful memory, and he throws it back into the box labeled junk. The move is over. On the way to his new school, Jake saw bullies beating up a boy. He wanted to break them up, but the victim didn't seem to mind being beaten. The bullies were not friendly and told the boy to leave. In class, the boy did his best. He turned out to be quite intelligent and clever. Jake easily answered all the teacher's questions. After school, a classmate approached him. She asked why Jake had moved. The boy replied that his brother was a great tennis player, and in order to realize his future, they had to move to this state. At dinner, Jake was unhappy with his family's difficulties. They have to eat bad and tasteless food all the time. He is also tired of moving around all the time. But the real problem is Jake's behavior. All the moves are connected with his constant fights. He was kicked out of all the schools he went to. Later, Baha invited Jake to a party. He couldn't refuse her, because almost all the students of the school were there. They were having fun, drinking, but the girls in bikinis kept hinting that they would remember this night for a long time. A little while later, the owner of the house approached them. This guy's name is Ryan McCarthy. He arranged quite an interesting entertainment, namely, interesting fights that took place right on the street. The guys were fighting and testing their strength. That was how people at the party had fun. Later, Ryan tells Jake that he saw a video of one guy beating up other men. He also saw a soccer match where Jake beat a big man on a soccer field. Ryan challenged the boy to a match, but Jake turned him down in front of everyone present. After that, Ryan kissed Baha. He did it to make Jake angry. It didn't work, so after that, the boy started insulting his father. Jake did not forgive such insolence. He got angry and agreed to fight with Ryan. The boy was given gloves, and the fight began. At first, everything was going well, but then McCarthy started to actively beat Jake. The guy tried to somehow respond to these blows, but he lacks skills and can't do anything against a professional fighter. Ryan lands a heavy punch and knocks Jake down. Jake manages to get back to his feet, but not for long, because a few seconds later, Ryan delivers a hard kick to Jake's head. The guy woke up at home. His face was completely smashed. In the evening, his classmate Max came to see Jake. He handed him a martial arts tape and said that if Jake practiced his kicks and trained hard, he would easily win the fight with McCarthy. The guy invited Jake to the MMA section, but Jake refused. The next day, he still remembered Max's offer and came to the gym to train. Coach Jean Roquois told the boys that today's class was not for them, but for the advanced group. But Jake didn't come just to leave. He asked the coach to let him stay. He also said he was a very fast learner. The coach thought about it and agreed. The training was very hard. Lots of different exercises for Jake's strength and endurance. The boy was very tired. After the training, Jean tells the boy that it was just a warm-up, and the real test will begin right now. Jake was put in a fight with a guy who was 10 kilograms lighter. Jake thinks he will win easily. He even starts to joke with the guy, but the guy immediately grabs Jake with a chokehold. The guy should have given up, but Jake is not used to giving up, so he just lost consciousness. The coach sees all this and realizes a very important thing. Jake has a very strong willpower. Jean Roquois agreed to train Jake, but on the condition that the boy would be more careful. Later, Baha came over. She apologized for the incident at the party, but the protagonist thought that the girl had set him up and invited him to the party, so that Ryan could beat him up in front of everyone. Jake chases the girl away. The next day, the guy comes to training an hour earlier because he thinks he needs to put more effort into his training. And he does. He doesn't work well with the punching bag. His punches are quite weak, and his breathing is constantly out of whack. The coach gives Jake some tips, and the guy starts to make progress. After a while, his strength and stamina increased tremendously. Jake was also exposed by his mom. She found out that he had withdrawn $200 from his account, and all this in order to train in fighting without rules. Because of this, they had a conflict. After the class, Baha tells McCarthy no. She believes that he has been cruel to Jake. McCarthy argues with the girl and says that she is nothing without him. He says that no one would know her if she hadn't met him. The guy held her, not letting her leave. Jake asked him to leave the girl alone. This time there was no fight. The bully insulted Jake's father again. At the next training session, the boy learned another lesson. The coach advised him to never get angry and to control his emotions. Jake still doesn't know how to fight because he is still angry. Jake asked him to calm down and go home. On the way home, several bullies came across the boy. One of them called Jake names, and a fight broke out. The boy used all his skills. He won, and Max filmed the whole thing. Of course, the video got on the internet, and Jake became a local celebrity. McCarthy angry. He met him in the restroom and almost beat him up. The guy invited him to a tournament for fighters, but Jake hasn't decided yet. When the protagonist came to training, his hands were noticed by the trainer in the gym. There was a rule that you couldn't fight outside. Because of this, Jake was kicked out. At home, things are not calm either. Charlie got a bruise during a tennis match, but he told his mom that he had just had a fight. The boy wants to be like his brother. This makes their mom angry, because fighting is bad. Jake also realizes this. He is ashamed that his brother is setting a bad example. Jake decides to go back to the gym anyway. Together with Max, they waited for the coach outside. Jake approached Gene and admitted his guilt. He said that he had come to the training to teach the offender a lesson, but now he realized that anger would destroy me. Gene forgave Jake and decided to bring him back to training. Some time passed. The boy became a real fighter. His strength grew many times over, his endurance increased, and his anger and rage ended. Now he is no longer just a boy from the street. He is a man who can take responsibility for his actions. While jogging with the trainer, the guy asks why Gene lives in the gym. He tells him about his brother Joseph. Once they were in a restaurant and were attacked by hooligans. Joseph started a fight but was shot dead. After that, his father abandoned Gene. He believed that they should have shot Gene, not Joseph. Jake is preparing for a competition. His coach has shown him different techniques to get out of the grip. The boy intends to win. He also came to his brother's match for the first time. The boy was losing, but Jake was so worried about his brother that the boy believed in himself and won. Afterwards, Jake talked to Baja. He admitted that he was a fool, and it was not her fault that McCarthy had beaten him. Jake wanted to fight, so he got into the fight himself. After these words, they made up. Max received a message that the fight would take place tomorrow at 0 o'clock and was very excited. He told Jake about it, but he refused. After all, he's not some guy off the street anymore and can control himself. Jake said he didn't want to fight there. At the party, McCarthy found out that Jake doesn't get into fights. This fact disappointed him a bit, but seriously, it made him very angry. After training, McCarthy invited Max to his house. He began to show him techniques. At first, everything was fine, but then Ryan challenged him to a fight. The guy beat Max badly without gloves, and these bastards left Max at Jake's house. In the hospital, the guy decided he had to take revenge. He met the coach in the parking lot. Jake told him everything, but the coach told him that if he got into a fight, he would never come to practice again. Jake explained to him that he had no choice, and sometimes you have to be violent to stop violence. He recalled Gene's story, and said that if Gene could save his brother, he would do absolutely anything for it. Gene understood these words and gave the boy some advice. He asked him to keep his temper in check. The boy returned home. He packed his bag, and his mother saw it all, but she did not dissuade him. Jake came to the club. He showed that the month of grueling training was not in vain. Jake defeated all the fighters, but one fought back. He broke Jake's rib. This made it difficult for him to fight, but he was determined to go all the way. After that fight, he had a fight with McCarthy. He won, but he broke the rules, and the judge disqualified him. As soon as Jake found out about it, he immediately left. He came to this tournament only for one person, the person who caught up with Jake in the parking lot. The guy said he was ready to fight, but there was no audience, so he didn't want Ryan to get bored. Jake almost left, but McCarthy attacked him from behind. His friends gathered a whole crowd and the real show began. The fight was equal. Everyone has their own advantages, but at some point, McCarthy demonstrates a fighting hold and starts choking Jake. It seems that Jake has already lost, but the guy gathers all his will in his fist and breaks free from Ryan's grasp. He throws him to the ground and starts beating him. Jake remembers the punch his coach taught him and demonstrates it on his opponent. As a result, the main bully is defeated. Now the boy and his friends can live in peace. But that's not all. Jean decided to finally talk to his father. He packed his things and left the gym where he had lived for 7 years for the first time. All this in order to reunite with his family. If you have watched the video so far, you should know that I am happy to have viewers like you. Thank you for watching to the end. Subscribe to the channel and follow the news. Klontsak Recapped was with you. See you soon.